Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you're tuning in from. Welcome back to the Pat Flynn Show. I am your host, Pat Flynn, and very shortly, Dan John will be joining us to discuss some advice for making the holiday season especially productive, fitness wise, without ruining the enjoyment of the season. This, of course, is the great mystery. How do we enjoy the holidays? How do we enjoy life, but still make progress with our fitness routine? We're going to share with you our very best, most practical advice for doing exactly that. It's actually pretty funny. A lot of people think that the holidays are the most, I don't know, disastrous time to either start a fitness program or to stick with the fitness program. And there's obviously a fair amount of truth to that, right? We know that it's very difficult with all the festivities between Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, to stay tight on the nutrition and be consistent in the gym. But I have found actually that summer tends to be the worst time. It seems more people, just from my many years of being in the industry and just getting a pulse on things, it seems more people fall off the rails during summer for whatever reason than almost any other time. I don't know why that is. Maybe you guys have some theories. You're welcome to share them. Hey, before Dan John shows up, let's do a few quick things. First off, let me know what you're drinking in the comments. I've got a cup of Folgers, mountain grown, baby, mountain grown. And how's my volume? Let me know. Yesterday's podcast sounded pretty bad. I think it was because my microphone was turned in the wrong direction. I apologize for that. Does this sound okay? If so, please let me know in the comments. If it sounds like I'm in a toilet or an aquarium, you have to let me know right now because I want to fix it. Okay. Let me know. Okay. Sounds fine. Looks like we're getting some good feedback. Good. Glad to hear it. Real quick, help us out here. Support the show by supporting our sponsor, Inverted Gear. So get yourself some kettlebells for the holidays. What a wonderful gift to have under the tree. A set of kettlebells, a 16, a 24, or 32. That's the magic set. Get it from Inverted Gear because you'll get 15% off everything you order there. invertedgear.com/discount/PatFlynn15. We love these guys. They're great. They help keep the one light on here at the Pat Flynn Show. And I can't speak highly enough of them. Nelson, good dude, good man, good kettlebeller, awesome jiu-jitsu player. He's got the cute little panda logo on the kettlebells for you. Scoop some up. invertedgear.com/discount/PatFlynn15. Okay, everyone says the volume sounds good. Theo, good to hear from you. Jay Johnson, good to hear from you. Drinking Jocko Go Discipline for my workout. Is that a pre-workout? What is Go Discipline? Or is that just coffee? Okay, good. It seems like the sound is better. That's awesome. Nothing's more frustrating than when the sound goes bad. We can live with not great video quality. I mean, look what you're looking at anyways. Who cares if that's a little blurry, right? But it annoys me really badly when the sound isn't good. So if there's ever an issue with the sound live, please tell me right away, because I did that full episode yesterday and it sounded like I was in a toilet. It sounded awful. I listened to it afterwards. I was so frustrated because I thought it was a great conversation. We talked about how to construct killer kettlebell complexes. It was a lot of fun. In fact, I got a lot of great feedback from it, but I was mad because it just sounded poorly. So I apologize for that. Sometimes things go wrong. I think what it was is one of my children come down here in the basement. They mess around with all my stuff, and sometimes they turn things around. So I think my microphone was just facing the wrong direction, which is why it sounded distant and far away. So again, I apologize. Hey, real quick, got a little gift for you guys if you haven't picked it up before Dan shows up. Got some free workouts for you. If you haven't snagged this already, grab your collection of challenge workouts. I've got 11 time-crunched, super effective, super efficient kettlebell challenge workouts over at chroniclesofstrength.com/challenge workouts. And these are 11 of my hand-picked, I bet you can't do this workout routines. You'll love them. We're talking 15 to 30 minutes, high intensity, burns a mountain of calories. Usually just need one kettlebell. Some are double kettlebell. Absolutely free. chroniclesofstrength.com/challenge workouts. So, all right, we're just waiting for Dan here at this point, but let me know what you guys are drinking. Let me know where you're tuning in from, and let me know your questions. As always, Dan and I like to dedicate the second half of our conversation to Q&A. So anything you want to ask us about lifting and kettlebells and all that sort of thing, of course, we welcome that and always enjoy your contributions as well. Let me know what you're doing over the holidays to stay in fighting shape. I've been doing a lot more martial arts recently, which I'm very happy about. Because when I moved to Wisconsin 2 years ago, I kind of and then all the pandemic stuff came. There's Dan. Good morning to you, good sir.
Hey, how are you? Sorry about we didn't have last week, man. That was
That's my fault. That's my
no.
as always.
Would you please repeat that to the audience? Just everyone knows that
It's never Dan's fault when
it's
we
never
miss it.
my
Yeah,
fault. And,
Dan is so perfectly consistent. It must be all that fiber, Dan.
yeah. Well, look at that. I just I got to work on my hair here a little bit.
Beautiful. Hey, so I wanted to talk about. It doesn't have to be the whole episode, but I wanted to talk about Dan John's holiday survival tips. It is that time of the year again, and people want to know how Dan John stays so fit and trim through the surplus to the surplus calories of the season, if you will. But before we get into that, how's your training been this week? What's new on the list?
Hey, good. I am so sore. So I did. I made a decision, and you got to be careful, gentle listener, about what I'm about to say. So, I haven't bench pressed basically in decades, and I really don't do a lot of horizontal work because I did so much as a kid. So let's say for 40 years of my life, I overdid horizontal pressing, bench, inclines, push-ups. Well, so then I stopped doing it, which is the traditional Dan John thing. It's, I go a little hot and cold on things. So I added,
the same way.
So I added push-ups. I have that little parallettes thing,
Yeah.
I do them there because doing push-ups like this, it's fine. But I find if I do them with my hands, okay, like in this.
Do you have the parallettes, or do you have those? What was that thing called? The perfect push-up? Remember that little gizmo?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we used to do those with dumbbells before someone invented it. But I actually have a really low set of wooden parallettes, and then I have a taller PVC homemade kind made by Mike Brown, and then I have also the ones that are on my pull-up dip apparatus. There's those little. Yep. I use the wooden ones because yesterday I just put them outside.
Those are really good to have around, aren't they? Just a simple wooden.
It's kind of interesting because if you're doing something as simple as L sits, because of my being an Olympic lifter, L sits on the ground like this, but I can do parallel L sits, So I've been adding push-ups again, and it's weird to feel sore here because I have
right along the sternum, above the sternum. Yep.
Yes, but my thought is, what I'm trying to do is like yesterday, I did a whole bunch of squat cleans and front squats, and then I did kettlebell presses and push-ups. And so yesterday would have been like, I'm not doing necessarily body part, but I find that if I do a pushing day and then Olympic lift and then a pushing day, Olympic lift and a pulling day, the way my brain is wired, it works a little easier now. Honestly, I can see myself doing that for another week or two, and then doing maybe something more logical like superset presses with rows, the push-up with curls or whatever is complementary. TRX tees would be nice. So I'm kind of oddly sore today. So
now you're doing barbell or dumbbell bench?
No, I'm doing push-ups.
You're just okay. So you're not doing any benching on top of the push-ups. It's just the push-ups.
No, I don't need to bench. If I'm getting this sore from doing the parallel push-ups, I don't need
to. and what type of grip are you taking with the parallel push-ups? Pretty narrow. You're going wider with it, or are you mixing it up?
Thumbs into the armpits. So
thumbs right into the armpits.
For me, I think I set them to about. So it's hard to figure that out.
The nice thing about the parallettes is not only to get the further depth, but eventually you can really, really kind of like start to push your hands over your chest, which just really increases the difficulty of the push-up. To the point where, I think you're right. You probably really don't need the bench press anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought dips were good. Now, there's two kind of problems with dips. It does hurt, especially adolescent boys' sternums. And someone's going to ask why, and my answer is I don't know. But when you hear the same thing, I think it has something to do with the idea that you're working with someone who hasn't fully finished growing, and maybe the sternum is a little too spongy for high rep dips. And the other one, of course, is you do get into a really deep position. So if you had an issue with shoulders 30 years ago, one crappy, where you kind of wiggling dip could be the thing that sparks that problem again. So,
we'll get into the holiday stuff here in a bit, but you brought up a good point I want to explore, and it relates to a recent article I just read of yours on the Turkish press down or something that you called it. You know what I'm talking about? You just put it up on Dragon Door not too long ago.
Yeah.
And this is something I've come to appreciate, how important it is to kind of, have different pressing angles in your routine. Because like you, I went a little too hot in one direction for a while, and I still kind of pay the price for it. Now, unlike you, it wasn't horizontal. I went too hot on the vertical for a while.
And you had problems.
Yeah, just too much, just way too much on the overhead vertical pressing for years and years and years. And it still comes back and bites me if I start to get too hot with it now. So I've come to appreciate over the years how important it is to be pressing from different angles in your routine. So now I press from all angles. I still do the overhead, but I do dips. I do hip bridge presses. I do different angles of incline. I do variations of push-ups. And then, of course, pulling from all the angles too. And my shoulders and my neck, especially the SCM, the side of the neck, that's what really heats up for me if I press overhead too much, is much happier because of that. So I don't know, maybe we can talk about that a little bit.
You can touch that neck problem. You can just go it's right there.
Yeah, right there, and then right up, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it feels like there's a hot rock in there.
Oh, you got it.
Marble, maybe.
That's it. Mm-hmm. You got it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. It's kind of nice when. That's why I think it's important if you have someone who's a physical therapist or a physio, someone who's lifted weights, just so you can have that. Then they can say, okay, it hurts. I'm doing presses and it hurts here. They'll be able to go, oh, yeah, I got that. Okay, yeah.
Here's an elbow, bang.
Yeah. Somebody asked about trivia. I didn't go to trivia last night. Just before I was getting ready to go, my daughter called and said she couldn't make it. And then if my daughter, then we lose Kyle, then we lose the other team. And for the last couple of weeks, it's been a little scattered. And then I stayed home and I was eating and I said to Thomas and Lindsay, I said, maybe I'm too tired. So I went to bed really early last night, and maybe I just needed a good night's sleep. I don't know. So
yeah, you and me both, actually. I think I was in bed before 9 last night.
Yeah, this time of year in Utah, the sun goes down really early, and I struggle to stay awake. And so hint number one, how to survive the holidays is this is really a good time of year to take the advice I struggle with the most and try to go to bed earlier. There's nowadays with the way TV works, you don't need to stay up to watch a show. If you're doing a jigsaw puzzle, playing a game with a friend, or reading a book, maybe by 8 o'clock, you look over in the corner, your cat's like this, your dog's like this, and the only people staying awake are the people using artificial light to stay awake, and join the other mammals and go to bed.
Yeah, isn't that a really interesting thing? And this is a recurring theme of ours, but I think it's important. Is I don't know about you, but my entire family still has not adjusted to this daylight savings time business. Right? It's just it's awful. It kills us, especially with the young kids. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Just awful. So like we're struggling with that, and I think that's part of the reason why I've been falling asleep quite early recently, and I'm thankful for that. But you're right. It's a good point, right? I think like I would challenge people to try this, right? Instead of putting on the TV screen at night or the iPad or the iPhones, just after dinner, try and keep all screens off and do something like a jigsaw puzzle or read. Don't just like stew on like stressful questions, but do like some leisurely activity. And just kind of, I guess, just notice when you start to doze off. My guess is it's probably going to be a lot earlier than you would normally start to fall asleep. And then I guess we would say, yeah, go for it. If you're out at 8 p.m., go for it with the dog. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just like Lay's potato chips is designed that you literally, it's built to undo the hardwiring of your system to make you can't eat just one. Especially now, of course, since people are getting away from television, you guys might. Here's the thing: if you don't watch actual television, watch it one night and watch how television has figured out how to keep you chewing for more.
Mhm.
I like that show, Family Guy, and very often they will get to a peak in the show and then have a fairly long break, and then there's like a 15-second animated portion, and they're done.
Hmm.
But that break is all commercials, all throwing tidbits out. For instance, Fox, there's not a damn thing on Fox that I ever want to watch, including the football, the NFL commentators. Uh, if that one guy, Joe Buck, says the Hall of Famer, Troy Aikman, one more time, well, I did it already. I will refuse to watch it. I don't care who the teams are. Hopefully it won't be the Super Bowl. But,
I'm not a
yeah, I
professional
know.
sports fan, so I have very little to comment even on the
But when
commentators.
you're watching the NFL football, the biggest game of the year, the Super Bowl,
Mhm.
there's ads for their new shows. When you're watching the new shows, there's ad for, and it's just it's just that you know
You're
going
right.
to keep you around. And I actually think we're not. I'm starting to think, because of all these things, like I just buy shows. If I find a show I like, I just buy it.
Mhm.
So, it's $14 for the season. The shows are 21 minutes. I can watch all of them. Honestly, on a Thursday night when I've got nothing to do, I could watch. There's a show called Ted Lasso that I like very much from.
A friend of mine recommended that show the other day.
It's if you're a coach, or if you're somebody who's ever been hit in the head, or you got concussion issues, or you got life issues, Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso might be one of the best. I think it's the best coaching show in the history of television. But I also think it's one of the best. Boy, and it just unpacks friendship better than a show I've ever seen.
What is that? Is that on one of these? Is that on
Yeah, it's
Apple
on this
TV?
Apple Plus thingamabobber, and
There's
it's like
so many of these things now. I
it's
can't.
like I'm not. I can't.
Paramount Plus, Peacock, Disney, Apple. I can't keep up with all of these things.
Yeah, and what happens is you buy this, and it's real hard to. I mean, I don't know how hard it really is, but once you get that free membership, so you can you can watch all the Ted Lassos, then you're stuck with this thing, and I'm going through it, and I don't see any difference between my Amazon account, the shows offered between Amazon, Netflix, Apple. They're all the same movies and shows.
Except for like maybe one or two of those exclusives. That's how they get you, right? Because I looked for this Lasso show after my friend said it, but it's not on Amazon as far as I can tell.
No, you can't buy it anywhere.
Yeah.
You can watch snips of it on YouTube, which might be enough to hook you to enjoy it. Ted Lasso's great. He's got a speech, so I don't want to ruin anything. But in season 2, a dog gets killed,
Mhm.
and when he's asked to comment on it, it's really worth. Pat, it might be worth your time.
Yeah.
He talks about a dog who bit him badly when he was 3, and then later he took care of this same dog, and then had to put this dog to sleep a year or so later. And I got to tell you, if you're an owner of dogs and you don't get what's happening to me right now, a little bit, something's in my eye, then you really want to check in to see if you have a soul, or a heart.
See if your heart isn't just a black lump of coal. That's right. Yeah. Now, unrelated, but since we're kind of talking about TV, which is fun, I did see Dune over the weekend, and I actually loved it. I actually thought it was great. Now, I haven't read the books, so I can't offer. My wife, she read the book, and at least the first one, she loved it.
It's terrible. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said she couldn't read past the first book. But as somebody who went into that movie completely blind, I came out thinking it was a lot of fun, and that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Have you seen it yet? The movie?
Yeah, and I read the book many times. I've watched the original one. Well, not the original, but the David Lynch version. I watched the sci-fi version, which I recommend highly. I thought the sci-fi version
was that the one they made in the 80s, or which one did they make in the 80s?
You're thinking of the one with Sting. Sci-fi version, I want to say it was like 2001, but it was a TV
Singer Sting or wrestler Sting?
Singer Sting.
Singer Sting. He was in the movie Dune. Interesting.
In the movie, in the sci-fi series is maybe 25-minute episodes, or maybe a touch more. And I like that a lot. But here's the thing. There are, as all books, there's a million subplots, and this director had the ability to cut away all those other subplots because like the doctor's subplot is much the doctor who
Yeah, I know, without giving spoilers. Yep. Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's much more to the story. It's much longer, and they were able to knit that together, I would say, in screen time minutes, if even less.
So as a fan of the book, do you feel the movie did appropriate justice to the book, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, they did one nice thing. They did sci-fi books often, movies often fall into the whole, the worst example is Star Trek, the motion picture, 2 hours and 20 minutes. And the bulk of the show was reintroducing the characters,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone just staring, going,
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Having said that, Star Trek 2 might be one of the five. I mean, Wrath of Khan
Sure. Mm-hmm.
it might be the best sci-fi movie of all time.
Yeah, I even like the newer one, actually, that with Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan. I thought
Yes.
that was pretty neat. Mm-hmm.
Of course, it was Benedict Cumberbatch, and my only knock on that show is why did they have to turn it into a Marvel chase scene? You don't need to have that chase scene. Benedict Cumberbatch and the Star Trek franchise, you could have had more of a chess game.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Right.
A lot more fun, instead of just a fight scene between a Vulcan and a superhuman.
Right. Granted. Okay. Well, thank you, gentle listeners, for granting us that indulgence. We'd like to just do that every now and then. Okay. So, Dan, we talk about training with the seasons a lot, and now we're getting Thanksgiving just passed. Like, maybe we're a little late on this conversation. We still got Christmas and New Year's and all these other festivities in between. So, help us out here, Dan. What is your general recommendation for people who want to stay productive fitness-wise throughout the next month, 2 months, while still being able to enjoy the season? That's the sweet balance. Absolutely. Right? That's what we want to attain. So help us.
Sure. And I got to be careful. First off, I have to be careful here. I don't want to be a hemispherist, which people have said I'm a hemispherist. For those of you in the southern hemisphere, it is summer, and so what I'm about to say won't hit you guys until July, basically, or maybe June, July, August.
Right, but to switch the relevant things around when relevant. There you go. Right.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I reach out to understand. I understand the issues of being someone from the other hemisphere. I have been to the other hemisphere. I enjoyed my time. I reached out.
It's a fine hemisphere.
It's a great
hemisphere.
Yes, of all the hemispheres I know, you're one of them.
one of my top two.
So I have had this belief for longer than I even think. I found, as someone sent me an article I wrote 23 years ago, I think winter is the best time to lose body fat. I think it's much easier to lose. Now, having said that, summer is an easy time to lose body fat, but for a different set of reasons. Okay. The nice thing about winter is that, this year has been weird already, how cold. There's big temperature variations in my home because I live in Utah, but cold is one of the best ways to burn body fat. That's that whole theory that Covert Bailey used back in Fit or Fat, that brown fat is like the match and normal fat is the fuel. And it's not a bad way to look at it. Cold seems to light up the fat burning of the human body. I live in Utah. You live in Wisconsin. We both have winters. Okay. So rule one, if you're working with the seasons, the cold is actually helping you burn body fat. Number two, we're working with the seasons. It gets darker. There's more dark than light this time of year. Is that true, right? Close enough, right?
I mean, it sure seems like it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So one of the best things you can do for fat loss, and there's multiple reasons for this, is to sleep more. First, most people don't consume calories while sleeping. Most people don't drink calories. Most people don't snack while sleeping. Now, some of you are going to say, well, I do. Well, okay, good for you. But most of us don't. So you're not going to consume calories for those last night for me, 10 hours of sleep. And last week I had two 11-hour nights, which, I'm just, well, yeah, because like I've been telling you, I mean, you get the jigsaw puzzle done and it's all of a sudden, and, I work out hard and I'm academically working hard now. I'm teaching a course up at the university today. Um, I got a lot, and so by the time I wind down, I'm winding down. So why not
Right. Mhm.
go with it? I follow what Sirius Black is teaching me. Go to bed, for God's sakes.
Mhm, mhm.
So there's a couple things about the extra sleep in the darkness. First, you're not going to eat, but the second thing, at a hormonal level, that gives your body tons of time to replace and repair. We know that lack of sleep does as much damage to the brain as all kinds of diseases and all kinds of physical issues. So, so first would be the cold, the second would be the sleep, and the third would be the foods we eat this time of year. I'm a big fan of stews and soups and even chilies. I mean, somebody told me one time chili is a fattening food, and I'm thinking, yeah, I don't think they did that. Whoever did that in the diet didn't study the whole process of digestion and elimination when it comes to chili.
Mhm,
Because if you have we eat here we do garbanzo beans, black beans, and kidney beans in our chilies.
mhm. Yeah,
And
similar
trust me,
here. Mhm.
you do not fully digest that entire meal, no matter what that little calorie bomb machine is telling you. So for me, I think soups and stews, we'll throw in chili. Um, I think they come pre-digested in a way, so you can put in way more vegetables than you normally do, and
Yeah.
the slow cooking, pre-digests it. They're much more filling than when you would think.
Convenient, easy to reheat, right? Mhm.
Right, and then it seems to me that like when I walk in winter, um, I can't go as far, but I come back. I come back in the house, and it's like my first word is, "Who the hell turned the temperature of this house up?" My God, because if the house is 69 degrees and I'm coming in from 30, it feels like I walked into a sauna.
Right.
So the other thing about when you exercise in the winter, here in Utah anyway, you have to deal with sliding, slipping. You have to be much more vigilant.
Mhm.
You have your eyes are looking for dry patches, safer routes, and I think you're a much more. I think you're walking, you're running, your whatever outdoor activity you're doing is at a higher, whatever this would, higher alert,
Mhm.
which I think stimulates a lot of good things for you.
Yeah.
So,
It's funny, right before you logged on in, I was saying it's been my observation. This is not a formal study by any means, but it seems like you have echoed a similar thought that even though people kind of worry about the holidays in terms of weight gain more, it seems to me like more people actually slide off the rails body composition wise during the summer. And it, I have my speculations of why that might be the case. We're letting the guard down. There's lots of vacation. Summer's a more relaxed time. So I don't know why. I don't know exactly why it seems to happen, but it does seem to happen where people worry more about the holiday season. I would say actually, to your point, Dan, I think people probably, again, just armchair speculation here. I think they actually do worse in the summer, and I'd like somebody to study that because I have a strong hunch that there's something something to that speculation. Maybe you've seen something similar.
well, let's be sure we define summer correctly, because my observations generally is there's this weird period towards the end of winter, start of spring, where most people, it's almost like they're as because we're mammals, are we? It looks like we're fattening up to reproduce.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I don't disagree with you, but and by the way, the Lent and things like that are all structured on on meat. Carnival is the festival of meat. Um, if I could just say one thing about, so to me this time of year, there's a lot of family dinners, a lot of sit down dinners, and now listen, my thought on most treats, if a treat is calling to you, eat the damn thing. We'll deal with it for the next 365 days. Don't be a hero at dinner with me. It's so hard to cook in this, I have friends who are pescatarian. I got vegan, very good friends who are vegan. So pescatarian, vegan, this, and this, gluten issues with a friend of mine. Nolan has gluten. He's got that celiac disease.
Mm-hmm.
This disease, that disease. Try to put together a meal so what I do is I have a meal, and it's up to you with your issues to pick and choose. Also, and you to bring your food. So one of the things I strive to do is have more options at meals this time of year. And it's been informed by my pescatarian, vegetarian, vegan, celiac friends. And
Right.
I think it actually has made me a better host. And so what I try to do with the meal is no matter what is brought, I always have some. So if you bring some food that probably I know is going to end up on my belly, I'll still eat it because you brought it.
Right. And now there's another point there that we skimmed over, but I want to draw out a little bit, and that is we'll deal with it the other 365 days of the year, or 364, I guess, right? And what a good point that is, right? Because keeping a sense of perspective is really critical for life in general, but certainly this time of the year. It's not that one night that you had a slice of apple pie. It's not that isn't the reason you're 30 pounds overweight, right? It's not that one time, right? The person who has, enjoys Thanksgiving dinner, has the pie and the brownies, and then, gets back on track the next day is fine. It's utterly insignificant. It's when people get into this sort of weird all or nothing mindset where it's like, oh, well, since I had the pie on Thanksgiving, I might as well just eat pie every night for the rest of the month, something like that, right? And that's obviously bogus. That's what we want to avoid. So it's just trying to regain some nutritional sanity here, realizing like, look, if I have pie, ice cream, whatever, and stuffing, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and like 3 other days between now and New Year's, that's really utterly insignificant in the grand scheme, so long as it's just those days.
Right.
And there's no and you don't have to feel guilty about it. In fact, I think like the opposite's true. Like if you're not able, unless barring some condition like celiac, of course, right? Barring conditions, asterisk,
Yeah.
whatever. If you're not able to sit down and enjoy a proper feast every now and then, there's probably something worth addressing there psychologically, some disordered relationship with food. Now, I'm not qualified to address that, but I'm saying that's probably something that needs to be addressed, right?
Yeah.
It needs to be discussed. So yeah, I'd like to just have you build on that a little bit.
Well, if you go back to, and I don't, this is the second time I've mentioned his book, and I don't necessarily recommend it. The first one's pretty good. It's the follow-ups when basically you eat the driest food of all time. But Covert Bailey's book, he talked about how there was research back in the 70s, and I'm sure it's still valid, that eating a feast like Thanksgiving actually increases certain things. One of the weird things I've noticed is very often after feast weekends, I'll step on the scale on Monday and be lighter than I normally am.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a theory about this, is that the moment you tell your body there's ample food, you're fine. It's funny. I'm acting like my body is somebody else, but once the system, if you eat enough, the body's like, okay, there's no famine. We don't have to be in fat storage mode. Let's, and he uses the phrase, release the grease. Let's
I like that. It's fun.
let's use body fat as an energy source.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a belief back in the 70s is one of the ways you could increase brown fat. Brown fat is the baby fat, it's wonderful fat. It generally, for adults, the only part really that's left anymore is up here. That's why so many people tell you to, if you're going to take a cold shower, make sure, or ice pack, put the ice pack back up here. For those of you listening, I'm touching the back of my shoulders, my traps. Now, is this voodoo? Well, I don't know if it's voodoo or not, but here's the thing I know. I think he's right. I have noticed that feasting. Now, remember, we talked about this 1,000 times on this. No, that's not true. I exaggerate. We talked about it 1,000,000 times. This idea of first the fast, then the feast, But you can't just say first the fast.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have the feast in there somewhere. If you and that's my knock on the boot camp model of personal training is that everything's the fast.
Right. It's what did you have in your email the other day? Get sweaty and eat like a rabbit. Right. Not the best long-term approach, the eating like
Yeah.
the rabbit.
Well,
Yeah.
you read my.
Of course, Dan. I keep up with your stuff. Of course. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I can't believe how many people emailed me that the link that I had to the rabbit food pyramid was broken. It's like,
I didn't get the sarcasm there, huh?
well, no, the idea though is that I use this thing called Google to find it, and there it is. I love my readership, but sometimes they'll ask me to do things that. So, Dan, how did you find this article by Pat Flynn? Pat Flynn, Chronicles of Strength. That's how I found it. I Googled it or Binged it. Actually, I Bing more than Googled.
There's the I just thought you were just being funny with that, with
Yeah.
the broken link. So, but yes, yeah.
That's actually funny.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I got it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah, totally intentional. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like we've talked about this. Yeah, a lot of recurring themes, right? Hard diet, hard training program, maybe something you do for a short period of time, once or twice a year, but not
I think
sustainable
once
long
every
term.
4 years. At 4.
Right. Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I do the fast mimicking. Hang on, that's not true. I used to do this fast mimicking diet, 5 days every month, 5 days, where I ate 500 calories a day, almost just vegetables. Okay. And it comes from a very, very good book on longevity. Well, when COVID hit, I haven't done it since COVID hit. And I was doing it once a month for months. And by the way, the funny thing is, I wasn't doing it for body fat or body weight loss because it didn't really have an impact there, which is interesting to say that out loud. But I was doing it for my longevity. Since COVID, I haven't done it because I don't have the emotional
reserves, right? Mm-hmm.
Reserves right now to pull it off.
Yeah. Now, just real quick, I want to emphasize what you said about the fast and the feast, because this is something that seems to be increasingly accepted among the nutritional scientists. There was a study done in 2019 recently where it showed that if you're cyclical in your eating, you get better metabolic benefits than if you just try to hold calories low, which is really just a fast and feast. And their study was specifically 5 days of moderate but not extreme restriction, followed by 2 days of a sort of strategic refeed, which is going at least back up to maintenance, maybe even a little bit more, was as effective for body composition and better for retaining lean muscle mass and hormonal profiles than just straight restriction. So what you're saying, like this is like becoming, I would say, just almost inarguable at this point, just based on the research, that the cyclical eating model is just better overall for sustainability and results. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I go back to the very first good piece of diet advice I got from anybody was from Lyle McDonald, the cyclical ketogenic diet, probably the best thrower diet we ever did.
Mm-hmm.
Greg O'Gallagher in his in love him or hate him, his idea that there's low calorie days. His great insight is called his vacation blueprint, maybe, where when you go on vacation, you eat and drink and have a good time. And he has the same experience I have. You go to an all-inclusive and you come home and you weigh in and you weigh less. Because when I go to an all-inclusive, I'm the only person staying at the vegetable area. So, I'm not, and again, I'm not judging. I was blessed, and I mean this, gentle listener, blessed. I don't have that sugar thing. You've been with me, right?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I don't remember Dan John munching on Jolly Ranchers at any of the workshops.
Yeah, I mean, I can certainly. The other day, I ate something, and it was like, oh, that's really. Oh, it was a cheesecake on a slice of cheesecake on Thanksgiving, and I turned to my daughter and I said, I get why people like this stuff so much. And she goes, yeah.
Are you more of a savory guy, Dan?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Oh yeah, I like. I mean, I know the foods I like are the foods I like, but it's cool because and this isn't like I'm superior to anybody, to you people. To you sugar eaters. It's just, I don't have that. Oh God, if you were to say to me, Dan, Three Musketeers bar, I'd be like, that crap
Yeah.
will be in my teeth for the rest of the day. I'll have to floss and get gooey, sticky. I hate that.
Yep. Yep. I think that's something that, because I used to be that way, but I'll tell you what, after years of just getting that crap out, I really think it's something that can be changed.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, when I was like growing up and younger, like you bring me to like the movie theaters, I'd be all about the Twizzlers and the Dots and I gotta have it. Now, like I go there, like just the thought of eating that makes me kind of sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
So I
But
think it is. So if you're haunted by the sugar dragon or whatever we call it, you can overcome it, gentle listeners. Take some
you
work, but
can
you can.
overcome it. If you just send money right now to my hotline, 1-800 Dan John loves you so much. People listening, we're talking about cyclical, and I mean, it's interesting because one of the books I like a lot is the John Douillard's 3-season diet. And really when it comes down to the seasons, it's basically, eat appropriate food as nature is giving it to you.
Right.
And one of the things, there is a website, folks. It's like food according to the seasons or something like it.
It's a
But
www and a .com. There you go.
yeah, and you can Google, but it's like, here are the foods that are here are the fall foods, and there's no surprises. I mean, basically it's a Thanksgiving meal. It's all the squash family. In the winter foods are the root vegetables.
Mhm.
And what's the best way to cook root vegetables? Well, you got to chop them up, and then you got to let them kind of cook for a while. And in my house, we call that soup and stews. When spring comes around, the tradition is don't eat meat for quite a while in spring, and that's good for so that the animals who need to reproduce can do it. And you try to empty out. There's a period of spring where you should empty out your whatever you call them, ladders or your closets, and clear out all your food, eat whatever. And then the summer foods are the berries, and of course apples are a fall food, and just you eat according to the seasons. And then if you simply do that, you're miles ahead for most of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Hey, we're gonna take questions here in a minute,
Oh,
guys. So send in whatever you want. But Dan, real quick, let's just talk about training during the season as well. I already see somebody here says maybe it's not a bad time for a bulk, and I think there's actually something to that of kind of like if you're a generalist, kind of planning, your goals around the time of the year. I think there is something sensible to that. But
my
what is
second,
yeah, I mean,
it's my second published article. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, maybe just give us a few
Sure.
insights there.
Most Americans, and I can only speak for Americans, fall is back to school time. So that's the time for the most disciplined programs. It's football season, most disciplined sport. So that's a good time. That's when I like actual programs. So whatever a program is, I like it in the fall.
In the fall, sure.
So if you're going to do
More structure in the fall.
what's your longest? You're a paleo for dummies.
90 days.
Yeah,
is
the 90
the
days.
longest.
If you could do the 90 days of your program, September, October, November, there you go. Winter, go heavy, go hard, go home, whatever that means to you. I just think in the winter, it's get in there and get home,
Yeah.
Spring is when here in America, it's track and field, it's baseball preseason. Get outside and start to play. But then summer, I think, should be nothing but play. Come to my gym. Our workouts are much more fun in the summer. We play catch with medicine balls. We run around, have fun. And there you go. There's your season. And what I want people to do actually is I'd like it if you would say in the summer when you're having nothing but fun in the workouts and you just maybe show up and it's like, hey, what do you want to do today, Pat? That's a perfect summer workout.
Yep.
So what do you feel like today? I feel like doing
Let's do some sprints. Yeah.
Let's do some sprints. But at the same time, saying, don't forget now, September 1st is day one, week one. Oh, yeah, I've got to make sure I do that. Make sure you have your, don't just, in the summer, I think the eating should be much more gatherer than hunter. You just kind of grab stuff and go. But in the fall, you want a much more, okay, I'm going to get back on, huh? So I'm going to eat vegetables at every meal, drink water. Winter, soups and stew, just I think there you go. I think
That's great. That's perfect advice. Thank you, Dan. Let's take some questions. First one comes from Steven. He says, "Hello, Pat and Dan from Winona, Minnesota. My question is, what is a good 4-movement original strength routine for tonic and recovery days?"
just 4, huh? Sure. Here you go. Prone neck nods, 6-point rocking. I would say egg rolls would be the next one. I'm sure that our good friend Tim would probably say a crawling variation. Damn it, those first 3 are pretty good.
Yeah.
Those first 3 are pretty good. Oh, marching in place.
There you go. Prone neck nods,
6-point rock.
6-point rock, egg rolls,
Egg rolls.
and march in place. Beautiful. And then what would you do as a general prescription for those exercises, Dan? Yeah, go ahead.
And if you on the march in place, your right hand touches your left knee, your left hand touches as they come up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You just doing each of those for a certain amount of time?
Yeah, why don't you do it for 15 minutes and call me?
Perfect. Yeah. The Tim stuff is really good, really useful. So definitely.
I would love to see you do a 15 minutes of prone neck nods. I think it would be illuminating.
The neck nods, the rolling, it just does wonders for an old, tight, stiff, and fat body like mine. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Indeed, yeah. We still got to get Tim on here. I got to just remember to just message him and reach out after. Keep talking about it. All right, let's see here. Dayo's here. He says, "Good morning, Pat and Dan." Dayo from Arizona. Black coffee as always. Any tips from Dan for what to look for when purchasing a barbell for Olympic lifting? Oh, that's a good question. How much should one expect to spend? All right, so we're going shopping, Dan. It is the holiday season after all.
3 years ago, I would say, boy, $500 is a great bar for a home gym. It's I would say practically doubled in price. But the thing I do, and this is just real simple, T2D3Y3. Your mother and father really went out of their way on this name. Is you have to touch the bar, but the first thing I do is when it's on the ground, I spin, and I like to see a real
good spin, right? Mm-hmm.
That's huge. Now here's the funny thing, and I don't know how I know this. It's just by feel, but if it spins way too much, I worry. If it's way too fast, I worry. If you touch it, it goes. No, I'm not going to buy it. And then what I would look for is as you go out to the collars, just look in to see the grease situation here. Oh, sorry. Look in to see the grease situation. If it's already spewing grease and it's just on the showroom floor, that's an issue. And then when you go to the end, when you look down the end of the collar barrel, what's holding the collar to the barbell? I don't mind nuts. This kind here.
Yep.
Dick Notmeyer's, those old Yorks. We had that little Allen that was on the side. Yep. And I thought that would never last. But Dick bought them in '65 and just sold them a couple of months ago for more money than he paid originally. So I'm wrong on that. But just whatever holds on. My best barbell at home has a spring inside of it. And I didn't think this thing would last. So there's a weird steel spring in there that pops out like this, and it works really well. So make sure it spins. The knurling, you probably want more knurling than you think, because knurling softens up very quickly between chalk and just use. So if a bar kind of hurts at first, it'll soften up over time. But if it's crazy, like the bars we had a state meet one time. No, it was a summer games. And I was in the hot tub with one of the other lifters after, and we had noticed we're both sitting with just our feet in the water, and other lifters would come down after to kind of soak and undo. And you could tell somebody, of course, because we're jerks, we didn't tell anybody, but when their thighs hit the hot tub water, they would pop out, scratched up from the barbell. And it was only
That's
6
yeah.
platform lifts, but they were just ripped to shreds, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. That's funny. A little trolling every now and then does people good, right? No, no, it was highlighted a few comments here. Noah says, "I plan on unrestricted indulgence this holiday season, but I'm still gonna keep up with the workouts." Cheers, my friend.
Well, and Noah, I don't think that's necessarily bad, because as we talked before, so if you have a cyclical, if you're an American and you decide, up yours diet from Thanksgiving to New Year's Eve day more,
The up yours diet's good.
yeah, but then the other 46 weeks, 45, 46 weeks of the year, you take care of business. I don't think that's necessarily horrible. Now, the only thing is that if your body weight or your body fat is trending up every single year because of this, and you're not, but here's the body fat is a living organism that is very smart, and it knows its job, and it has very, very important, it does some, I mean, you tell anybody who's done a quick body fat, an actual body fat thing, there's this belief that body fat stores toxins, which it does, and they will say it's the weirdest thing. I noticed this or that. That's my knock, and I've got nothing against liposuction, except when you do go in, open the body up with a knife, and suck out body fat, you are pulling living tissue out of your body, and I get it. There's I Pat and I, uh, you can now. By the way, they've gotten rid of the restrictions on how many liters they can take out of you now in a lipo.
Hmm.
So there's no way I can't give you a workout that gets rid of 6 liters of fat in a day. I don't have that workout,
Right, right. Mhm.
but you're also losing living. Cognitive.
And not only that, but we're talking about again, I think that there are situations where lipo might actually make sense, but again, a more fundamental question revolves around habits and dispositions and stuff like that, right? I think there's medical situations where it makes sense, and I even think somebody who is super overweight and then really reformed their behavior. And then, as we know, some body fat, the fat cells past a certain age, you can't really get rid of them. You can just shrink them, right?
Yeah,
Um,
all you can do is shrink them.
right. So then, like, hey, you got the habits in place, and maybe for whatever reason, medical or whatever, you want to just get some of this stuff that you've shrunk just out of your body. I don't know. That's a conversation for your doctor, right? But yeah, I'm with you,
So
Dan. Right? But we know that the fat is metabolically active now,
I
which is
became I became good friends with one of Utah's best plastic surgeon, Wirt Hines, and I would ask him because this was I thought was very helpful for my career. And now we also, we didn't just sit around talking about plastic surgery all day, no. But he said the best thing you can do when you go into plastic surgery, if you can, is show up in the very best physical shape of your life.
that makes perfect sense, of course.
Because if you have 1 million fat cells this size,
Mhm.
or 1 million fat cells this size, he still is removing. So, that in a cup this big, you're going to lose 5 fat cells or 500. It's up to you. So even if you do put weight on after, which happens
All the time, right? Which is not surprising if you haven't addressed some of the underlying issues, right? Good, 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 good. All right. Jay Johnson says, can you gentlemen touch on the blood type diet if you know about it? Reason I ask is because beans and legumes are not acceptable, and I love chili.
Yeah, the knock on the Adamo, was it Adamo was his name? This top of my head, but I think his name was Adamo, who came out with the blood type diet. I will say this about it, as a blood type O, I read that and I said, that's interesting because this, and this ring true with me, Jay Johnson. This is an Ayurvedic book right here, Ayurvedic medicine book. And of course, you have to have that title that I find offensive. What's the problem with the title?
The Idiot's Guide, right?
So
That's my competitor. I'm a For Dummies author.
Yeah, yes, you are.
They're taking all the idiots. Yeah.
So in Ayurvedic medicine, they break you down into basically 3 categories: kapha, pitta, Vata, it's right there. And
Mhm.
then I think 2 subcategories, maybe 3. And I think all that stuff is fine, Jay, except it's not true.
Mhm,
No, that's
mhm.
not what. Hang on a second. There is information in those books that's absolutely helpful and clear and true. But there's research on those that say so.
That is pretty decisively against a lot of what's in that book, right?
So
Mhm.
for me, the blood type book said that garbanzo beans were good for me. The Ayurvedic tradition says that garbanzo beans are good for me. When I was in the Middle East recovering from a liver parasite, I survived on hummus and tabbouleh salad. And I didn't know for years why hummus and tabbouleh salad might have been, but the parsley, the hummus, if you read those traditions, those are some of the best foods I can put in my body. And after losing 40 pounds in 2 weeks, hummus and tabbouleh doesn't sound like but I thrived on it. So my point would be generally, there's value in reading it. It is not necessarily 1,000% true. If you like, man, dude, if you like chili, try just. I mean, there's more than one kind of bean out there.
Right. Mhm.
And I'll tell you one thing: when I eat,
Sometimes we do lots of different chilies because, like you, Dan, we love it for many reasons. Sometimes we do meat-free chili. Sometimes we do bean-free chili, just meat and vegetables. So we mix up our chili. Sometimes we do tomato-free sweet potato chili, which is really good. So we do meat, vegetables, and sweet potato. My wife's something of a chili artist. She's always making new and interesting chilies. So it's more than one chili out there for people to
yeah.
explore.
So
Mhm.
it's a good question, because these diets come out and they sound so. They're such an answer. That's what I like about these particular kinds of books. Here's my problem. And am I right? I forgot the gentle listener's name, but um, the idea is here. Here's your problem. This is, and that's why you got to be so careful about sitting down with the first year psychology major. Is that the psychology major will tell you you have obsessive compulsive disorder. Oh, I do. Well, what do I do about it? Well, I don't know. I didn't take the second year yet. I remember when someone told me I had OCD, and I'm like, well, great. Do I need to do something about it? And the person had some advice for me. And of course, later, a friend of mine, another Patrick, said, well, if you do have OCD, which is a hard thing to actually think, it's a great gift to you because that's what made you a great discus thrower, an author. I was the reason I could do the academic stuff I did and the athletic stuff is that I was able to just bury myself without a problem.
Mhm.
So yeah, we might cure your ill and make you one of the best mediums of all time. Mediums.
Mhm. Mhm.
No one pays a lot of money this week.
I don't know a single highly productive, successful person that probably wouldn't be diagnosed with OCD, if I'm being frank,
Well,
right?
I think of a few of my friends in the business, and it's like, oh my god. Um, this week, Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga did probably, one of Tony's last performances, if not the last. And there's a lot of singers out there, you know, but what makes Tony? Why do people want to listen to Tony Bennett at age 95? And I to me, that's what I always kind of run back to, that those little what makes a Tony Bennett so much better, or and yeah. All right, I'll stop. I know I have a point. I just don't know what it is.
It's all right. It was there somewhere. They can
Somewhere.
fish around for it. Yeah. All right. Let's take one or two more here. Wally says, "I love doing Dan John's Eagle around this time of year. I think it's great for hypertrophy, work capacity, and
Huh.
strength. I've never put more size on my legs with anything else. How long should one do this, and for how often?" So Dan, maybe you could just give us a reminder of what
Yeah,
the Eagle is.
you would take double 24s. It is 8 double kettlebell front squats, basically a 20-meter farmer walk, 8 double kettlebell front squats, a 20-meter farmer walk, 8 double, so that you do 64 double kettlebell front squats and how many ever meters that is, back and forth. And then you put the weight down and you're done.
Now I remember this was on T Nation at least once. Where did it first appear? The Eagle.
Eagle, Juan Diego Catholic High School, the Soaring Eagles.
Oh,
Eagle.
there we go. Cool.
Eagle. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was just a challenge I gave to my football players for work capacity. A lot of them would get, here's what you want is that little Patrick Flynn does one round. He does 8, stumbles over, and does one extra front squat and drops the weights. Oh, by the way, you can't put the weights down.
Mm-hmm.
And we're standing there, and the kid next to him, same position, does 8 rounds, 64 front squats, puts the weight down. You both play the same position. And Pat keeps saying, why don't I play more, coach? And I say, well, you're not putting the work in. But I have. I show up every day. Right, Patrick, you show up every day. You show up. And I respect that. But you don't do shit. Okay? You get an award for showing up. Here's a piece of candy. Enjoy your day. So the difference between you and Bob over there is those 52 front squats.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just one of those line in the sand workouts. And by the way, the weird thing about some of my challenge workouts, the only reason we do them is it is possible to finish every one of the workouts. You just have to reach down so far that you might not have any reserves. So yeah, I would say it's done once though, but what do I know?
Yeah, excellent. Very good. Well, then as we wrap up here, what's happening at Dan John University?
Oh yeah, we have a Black Friday sale. All
Beautiful. Give us
off.
all the details. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on just a second.
Take your time. Right? Is there a code? Let's make sure we get the code out. Mm-hmm.
Shit. As you can all see how prepared I am. Of course,
I might be able to find it in email too. We'll both search simultaneously here. Let's see. Anyway, we'll give the details in the meantime. 50% off all the courses.
All
right?
the courses, yeah. Which
fantastic.
is
Great deal.
Yeah.
Great deal.
And
how many courses total are there now, by the way?
I think there's 6. Hold on. As soon as I can find that email.
Right.
I guess this is embarrassing. I should really know this stuff, huh?
They come from your helper friend now. Sometimes Brian, that's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This mysterious Brian. I have no idea.
Oh, Brian is just money. He's just such a good guy. Let's see, Black Friday. Shoot, I hate the word Black Friday.
But... you can use code Black Friday, all capitals, and receive 3 months access. So I found it, Dan. I found it.
Where'd you? Oh, Black Friday. The second I said Black Friday.
It's the code Black Friday, all caps Black Friday. Let me type it into the chat here so people have
let's do this. Yeah. Do you want to can we just put the, how much can you put into these things?
You can just, anything you want me to throw in there, you type and I'll copy. And for people who aren't in the live stream, I will copy it onto the show notes page as well. So if you're listening on the podcast,
now the only thing is you only have till Wednesday. So
be quick.
Nice thing is, yeah. So, okay. So if you're a member, here's the upside. The courses are $100. If you're a member, it's half off. So it's 50. But during this sale, it's 25. And folks, I'm not very good at, Pat, is this true? I don't really pimp my stuff or sell my crap very well, right?
But it's worth it.
Yeah. So,
but it's worth it. Mm-hmm.
And you get it, you join for $29. And if you join, you can get like the easy strength course for $25. So.
Beautiful. Please take advantage, gentle listeners.
And the courses, I want to follow up on that because that was a very good question. Yes, very good question. Thank you. That's very good. The courses are goal setting, which is, I think, a good course. I've shared a lot of that here with you, Pat.
Yep.
Programming principles. I've shared a lot of Easy Strength 1
and 2.
Easy Strength 2, which I think is very good. And then the free courses are Exercise Across a Lifetime and Easy Strength for Fat Loss. And I will be putting together a new one on the.
No, what happened to Dan? I guess Dan's gone. Well, gentle listeners, let me finish up with Dan. We'll give him a minute, see if he pops back in. But as always, please do check out his Dan John University, and the code is Black Friday if you want to support what Dan's doing and grab a course or 2 or all 6 of them. We would super appreciate it. And as for what's coming up here on the Pat Flynn Show, we'll be back a little later this week. Ah, there he is. I was filling in some of the missing details for you, Dan. Welcome back. So there you
go. Don't let Grandpa touch buttons. Yeah, again, I don't. I thank you, Pat. I really have always supported your work, as you know, and it makes me happy that you support mine. And
yes, always. People will benefit greatly from these courses. I highly encourage them to go.
If you sign up, you get my big courses for what, $25, man. I mean, it's
pretty good deal. Pretty good deal.
Basically, it comes out to $1 a lecture. So there's an audio, there's a video of me, and then there's a long written thing. There's questions. And the questions are self-evident. I mean, they're very simple, but I wanted the questions in there. Kind of like the same reason that says I'm not a robot.
Yeah, just good for learning and retention, right?
And the research on that is solid. The questions, I can answer every one of the questions because I wrote them.
Yep.
But they're very, and then you go to the next one, and like somebody gave a criticism that on the Easy Strength 2 one, I contradict myself when it comes to squats, but that I did that on purpose. I think I told you someone found a typo in one of my books. I was talking about fighting and instead of, I was talking about the importance of fighting. I said, and instead of saying and of course it's different when I didn't say the martial arts, I said the marital arts because it was a joke. And someone thought that was an error and it was fun of me. And it was like, no offense, you dumb F. I won't swear in your podcast anymore unless I'm pissed off. You dumb F is that it was a joke because martial arts isn't funny. Marital arts is funny. It's like when Men's Health cleaned up that one time when I said, this is my top secret burn before reading program, and they corrected it to burn after. And I wrote to the editor and I said, so burn after is a cliche, burn before is funny.
Now let me explain to you why this is funny. And
then he emailed me back and he goes, holy cow, I missed that completely. I didn't get the joke. And it's like, I know, that's why
well, now it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, I know, man.
Anyway.
Oh, shoot. I don't want to put my phone, but I got a new thing on my phone. I bought I press buttons and it has a laugh track and it has a rim shot.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, so what I'm doing, I did a workshop yesterday to this bunch of PTs and they had no sense of humor. So finally I grabbed it and okay. So I'd say something I thought was funny.
I might have to get one of those geared up here on the podcast.
I think it'd be outstanding. Hey, I love you, man. And, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, Patrick. And
we did. We had a very nice Thanksgiving. Thank you.
And I know you're about to enter an interesting time as a parent, but also a very blessed time too. As we drift through Advent, in and through Advent, and towards Christmas, and of course, and all the other religious traditions, which is just a wonderful time of year. I like it when people say, isn't it weird that all the religious traditions are so big at this time of year? And I'm like, well, no, it's not weird. It's the days are getting shorter. The days dwindle down to a precious few. September, November. And of course, after the 23rd or whatever day it is this year, the days will get longer again. And it makes sense that even if you're not a believer, this idea that it's the light is about to reemerge here soon. I love living with the calendar. And
right. Absolutely beautiful, Dan. Thank you so much as always. And gentle listeners, head over, check out Dan John's courses. Use the code Black Friday. We'll keep all that good stuff in the show notes. And Dan John, we'll see you next week.
I hope so. And next week, ask me about the months of the year and why December, which means 10, is the 12th month. All right. Love you.
See you, Dan. Bye.